chances now. Oh, what a strike that is!
It's nice, Trixie.
Emily Owen hoofs it up towards Una Lou again. To Silva. Una Lou in the air! She gets that first goal of the season.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Women's Football Debrief. This is episode 13 with your host Owen Mason, and alongside me, Ben Stevens. Ben, I think Zara Larsson has just emitted a midnight sun on everybody because it's been red hot, for goodness sake, over the last few weeks, last few days especially. We're melting away. Ben, how have you been coping with the heat, first of all?
I'm not normally too bad, but today and yesterday has been a little bit insane. It's absolutely crazy sitting in front of the fan all day. Drank so much water in the last few days. It's actually ridiculous, but it makes a change from the weather that we normally see on the football pitch, doesn't it?
Certainly, yeah. We normally see every single weather imaginable, especially at Kate Lane. You get all the wind and rain and everything. Fantastic. But yes, we're pleased to have a guest with us again on the podcast. And it is someone who's been doing fantastic work on and off the pitch. It is Bristol Rovers' vice captain, I should say, captain for this season, given she's come into the role. It's Layah Douglas. Layah, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Brilliant to have you on. First of all, how, in terms of this off season for you now, of course I say off season, we're almost back into it in terms of the pre-season that's coming up in just a few days for you. But you've had that time off now. How do you switch off when it's the relentless season and all of a sudden it's just come to an end for a few months?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it doesn't come to a complete end because I kind of keep up my own one-to-one training with my coach and my dad throughout the off season, and I'm obviously coaching the little ones as well. So in that period of time, it becomes a bit more hectic for me. But I did manage to squeeze in 2 holidays this year, which I was quite glad about. So I think holidays is my way of switching off, but whether I can afford that every year is another question. But I had 2 little short trips away, which was nice just to kind of get out of the area and just explore new places and completely just switch off, turn off socials, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned just before we came onto the call that obviously pre-season does start very, very soon for you guys back at Bristol Rovers. How excited are you to just get underway with all the team?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. We go back on Sunday, so I don't think the running I'm looking so forward to. But I'm looking forward to being back with the squad, being back with the staff, and just getting kick-started on the new season, to be honest.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and looking back on the 25-26 season, is obviously another really strong season for you guys in Tier 4, finishing 4. What do you kind of make of your season overall?
Yeah, definitely. I think to the outside looking in, like we've had a great 2 seasons in Tier 4, like we've had 2 top 4 finishes. But I think internally we had higher standards of ourselves. So in that sense, it was more difficult to take, if that makes sense, because we did set those higher targets and expected more of ourselves as a squad. But we can't kind of dwell on those things when actually the reality is that we have done well. And we've put ourselves in a good position. I think we just always have high expectations and think more of ourselves. We would have probably preferred a top 3 or top 2 finish. But nonetheless, we're still happy with the top 4 finish, and we've still achieved some targets like winning the County Cup. And it's not a season we want to dwell on. We've managed to kind of get our hands on some silverware. So we ended the season on a high, and hopefully we can just continue building on that into next year.
Yeah, obviously, you were fighting at the top of the league for so long, and that did slip away, but then beating Cheltenham along the way to the County Cup as well. How nice was that to lift the trophy as captain?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I think we had a tough kind of group. We had Bristol City and Cheltenham in our group, so we had 2 tough teams to kind of get past. So then being able to finally lift that silverware, it did feel well earned. And yeah, it was a great feeling for me as my first season of really wearing the armband. Still vice captain at the moment, but being able to honour the players and the staff and the club in that way was a great feeling for me, especially after being there for so long.
Yeah, you've had that time, obviously, just into the end of your second season in Tier 4 with Rovers. Have you noticed that sort of jump up in quality? Because obviously we saw Swindon and Moneyfields fighting out until the final day, and it was one hell of a campaign across the divisions in Tier 3 and Tier 4. In terms of when you were playing Tier 3 opposition in Cheltenham as well, have you seen that step up over the last few seasons?
Yeah, there's definitely been a quality change. Like even from when we were in Tier 5, I remember we brought 2 Tier 4 teams in our FA Cup run that year. and like the difference in quality and the standard of play and how much quicker it was a big jump, and it was something for us to get used to. But I think more games that we've had against better opposition, the better, because it gets us used to playing at a higher tempo, gets us used to moving the ball that bit better, having to be that bit more stronger and powerful. And I think for me, I always prefer to play against better sides. I don't really like to play against sides that you think you're going to walk all over, because I don't feel like you benefit from it much. So I enjoy the challenge, and I think Rovers as a club want that challenge, and they want to be progressing and playing against the better sides and kind of being able to prove ourselves. So yeah, it's definitely been a good thing. It's been enjoyable to kind of challenge ourselves against those top end tier 4 and the tier 3 sides.
Yeah, another big factor, obviously, enjoying your football and really enjoying your time at Bristol is, of course, playing at the Memorial Ground, and how pleasing is that, to be able to walk out as captain and, to be able to play on a really quite an historic ground in Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like a carpet. I'm Bristol born and bred, so Bristol City and Bristol Rovers were always my top 2 clubs growing up, and being able to kind of honour the club and play at the stadium is massive for us. And the fact that we get to play so many games there, we're honoured to do so, and we're lucky. We know that doesn't happen all across the women's game, so it's definitely a step in the right direction that the club are kind of making a statement in that sense. And yeah, it's massive for all of us, and it's literally like a carpet. So we all love it when we're there. So yeah, it's perfect conditions for us, really.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you've obviously been at the club for a fair few years now. You won supporters player this year and then made over 100 appearances for the club as well. Just how much of an honour is it to put on the Bristol Rovers shirt?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive. Like, it's an honour to have received the Supporters Player of the Year award, and have that recognition from our supporters. I mean, we've had a lot of supporters over the years, and they've been loyal and stuck by us, and it's great to kind of have that recognition from them. And making 100 appearances is crazy. I never thought I'd get to that point, especially not at my age now. When I first joined Bristol Rovers, I didn't know if I was even going to make it into the first team. I started off in the development squad, so having that belief to just keep going and now being the player with the most appearances at the club is huge for me.
Yeah, and you obviously also played the most minutes this season out of anyone in the squad. How taxing was that for you?
Yeah, I was fairly tired at the end of the season. I knew that I needed to just kind of switch off and have a few weeks off. So I took maybe 1 or 2 weeks off just to kind of get my body back in check. Because yeah, I was very tired. Like by that last game of the season, I was shattered, especially because we kind of had a 3-game week that week as well with our cup final. So yeah, it was tough, but I enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm a player that I never really want a break. If I can play every minute, I will. And it's up to the gaffer to put me on the pitch. And if he sees that potential, then hopefully he'll keep me on.
Yeah, you speak there about your obviously relationship there with Nathan, Hallett Young, and obviously the coaching staff. How important have they been really for your progression in the women's game?
Yeah, they've been massive within my journey. Like Bristol Rovers have given me so many opportunities, like on and off the pitch. And like I said, I never thought I'd kind of get to that point within football. When I was released from Bristol City, I stopped playing for just under a year or so. And then an old coach of mine from a boys' team I was at was on a coaching course with Nathan, and then just said to Nathan, "Look, I've got this girl. Like, do you mind if she comes into training?" And then yeah, Nathan's given me that platform to kind of start again and work my way up through the ranks, and I couldn't be happy with how my journeys went there.
Fantastic. It's another big aspect, of course, is obviously gelling on the pitch, but of course off the pitch as well. It's been how nice has that been to keep friendships within the squad, obviously, as well as players that have moved on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like every single player that I've played with, I couldn't fault any of them. Like they've all been absolutely class players, but also the best people. I'd like to say I've always had really good relationships with all the players that we've had at the club, and I still keep in touch and have good friendships with a lot of them that have moved on. We've had a lot of change within our squad over the last couple of years, and it's nice to still be able to keep those relationships with those people because yeah, they were class players but also better people. So it's been lovely.
I guess that's quite an important element of that, Leigh, because as you say, there's been quite a lot of change. However, you know, that staying consistent with Rovers in terms of 2 4th-place finishes, that's been a really good achievement to have despite all those changes within the squad.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you looked at our squad last season compared to this season just gone, again, it was pretty much completely different. But I think for us, it's just remaining that quality and having our standards within the group. And we know that whatever players that we recruit, every single player, whether you're on the pitch, in the squad, or just in the training squad, like you're there for a reason. And every single one of those players are good enough to step up and step in as of when they need. So we always know that we've got the quality there to aim for the best that we can.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and you obviously know a fair few players in that Bristol team that we know fairly well from our time at Cheltenham Town as well. Abby Haley, Maisie Collis, you had Ella Pemberton there. And of course, we were talking before about your former captain, Libby Bell. How important have all those players been?
Yeah, every single one of those players were class and are great people. And I'm honoured to have shared the pitch with all of them. I couldn't fault any of those players whatsoever. Obviously, Liv, when I used to play with her, she was a great captain, great player. Can't fault her whatsoever. And then with Maisie, Abby, and Pembo, like when they were there, they were great players as well. And it was great to share the pitch with them this season.
Yeah, there's a shout out for Libby Bell. She's an avid listener of the podcast as well, so I'm sure she'll be pleased with that one. But yeah, moving on to more of your community work, then you obviously have a massive presence in that, and you got PFA Community Champion for tackling racism. How nice is that to be recognised for?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've been an ambassador for Show Racism the Red Card for the last couple of years, while being at Bristol Rovers. And basically, when they come down to Bristol, we do workshops to, I think it's normally 4 or 5 schools. They come up to the stadium and they do workshops around racism and discrimination. They get a stadium tour, and then there's either a Q&A at the end, or they get to make a poster that's either around racism and discrimination. And then we kind of talk on the panel about it. But it's been amazing just to be recognised for that kind of work. I mean, it's something that I think goes underlooked in our society. We don't realise that racism actually still exists, and it's a part of our everyday lives. And me growing up as a mixed race person has experienced that multiple times. So it's important for me to kind of then educate those younger children and try and tackle it as best as we can. We know it's not going to go straight away, but we've all got to start somewhere, and hopefully that start is with teaching the right generation the right things.
Yeah, and then obviously kind of sticking with a similar sort of theme, you were recognised at the Football Blacklist event, which is national level recognition. How pleasing was that?
Yeah. I mean, that was amazing. I didn't expect it whatsoever. I had an email come through and I was like, what's this about? And then when I seen it, I was honestly like, I was amazed. And it felt even better for me because my dad's won that award in the past. So it was a really nice element of that we had both kind of had a similar journey and both won the same award. But it was amazing. Like even when I was at the awards night in Bristol, I got to meet so many amazing people that are doing different things in sport on and off the pitch. And just being able to network with those people and kind of share our stories. Me and Dad did get invited to the national one, which was in London. And again, was amazing to kind of network and meet everyone. And there was award winners like Aruchi Eze, you name it. So
wow.
Jess Carter was an award winner as well. So it was great to kind of see those people getting recognition for what they do off the pitch as well. Because I think when people look at footballers, for example, they only really see what they're doing on the pitch, but actually there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes in our society. So it was nice to kind of see everyone that's involved, whether they're staff, coaches, players, get that recognition.
Yeah, fantastic. I've always, seen that over the last few years it's quite a prominent and quite an important part, isn't it? That Blacklist Award. And fantastic you got recognised. That's absolutely superb. And you mentioned it there, of course, being, from your own experience in terms of, having experienced racism. And the thing is as well, Layah, is we, unfortunately, in the 21st century, 2026, for goodness sake, we see it, especially in football, on almost a weekly basis, where you see clubs having to call out, racist abuse or racist tweets or messages or whatever it is. That must be really infuriating because in terms of when you see it on a more wider level, like what happened at the Euros final all those years ago, that when that is still happening in the 21st century, it must reiterate why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so frustrating and upsetting to see actually the fact that we are now in the 21st century and this is still happening with the amount of education that people have. It is frustrating, but it's ultimately not something that we can just get rid of out of our society straight away. There's always going to be people that have those viewpoints, but absolutely, it just shows the importance of why we do what we do. especially with the younger generation, and kind of teaching them those habits from young, that that's not okay, and teach them how they should be. When we do those workshops, they have so many good questions for us, and you can tell that it's something that they've not learnt about or not taught before. And it's great to kind of be that person that can kind of help them along their journey and hopefully deter them from making any racist remarks or anything, but also hopefully teach them how to tackle it, how to report it, and how to help someone that may be going through that.
No, definitely so. You mentioned, of course, with all the work you've done for obviously show racism, the red card, as being an advocate for that. As you say, that must be really rewarding to be a part of that. And like you say, teaching that next generation, because that's where, it's just fantastic to be involved with something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that generation is going to be at some point the world that we live in. And I've got two younger brothers, and I don't want them to grow up experiencing that. And if I can help that generation in any way I can, then I will. And I don't want them to experience things that I've experienced. So it's important to kind of educate those younger people and hopefully create a nicer society for all.
Yeah, and obviously you are so perfectly advertising right now. Layah's League. How did that kind of all come
about? So it was last summer. From being at Bristol Rovers, we do a lot of community work anyway, and a lot of that has been me doing training sessions and stuff like that in schools, and helping out in PE sessions, after school clubs. And a few of my family members, I have two little nieces, wanted me to train my niece. And I thought, well, yeah, like I happily do that. But then I thought, actually, like I could probably offer this to other people. And I know that there's a lot of kids in Bristol that would come to me for training, because I play in parks and stuff, local parks, and they'd come up and they'd want to play with me. So I thought, actually, if I can provide a safe space for them to just develop and have that avenue, then why not? I was lucky enough when I was younger, my dad is very hands-on and was training me up from when I come out of the womb, pretty much. But I know for other children, they may not have that relationship with their parents. They may not have someone that can teach them how to play football if they really wanted to learn it, or provide that kind of space for them to develop. So for me, it was just important to provide a safe space for kids to just come and develop, whether they just want to play for fun, whether they want to progress on to higher leagues, or whatever it is that their ambition is. They're more than welcome to come and train and develop within the safe space that I try to create for them.
Yeah, and honestly, just a final kind of word on the community aspect of it. Just how pleasing is it when you get that national recognition, and then I'm sure when you come back into Bristol as well, and in Bristol Rovers, just how pleasing is that when you get a whole squad that kind of will back you on it as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. It was a complete surprise. I was in the changing rooms and Nathan kind of announced that a player had an award to receive, and it was me. And I was like, oh, like really? But no, it was a really nice feeling, and the whole squad were really like happy for me, and like, yeah, they were buzzing for me, and that was really important to me, because at the end of the day, like the staff, the team, like their opinions matter the most to me while I'm at Bristol Rovers, and to have their support was huge.
Yeah, especially, just another word actually, Layah, on obviously in terms of what coaching you do with Layah's Lead, fantastic alliteration there. Get more words out, but incredibly so as well. Bristol is such a massive area, and I never really realised it. Because I've only been once, funnily enough, to Bristol. I always drive through it on the way to big holidays to Cornwall, but it's such a big area, Bristol, and in terms of being quite a big catchment area for young kids playing sports, that must be brilliant to just be able to help. Like you say, help kids who might want to have, try that passion of football for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Bristol's a massive area, and when I was playing for a club called Bristol Central, which is a boys, it's a grassroots team. They do two teams, but at the time it was just the boys team in my age group. And I was the only girl in that group. And when I was younger, I was confident enough to kind of be in that group and be sassy, be bossy, ask for the ball, not care about what any of the boys think. But I know that not everyone has that confidence when they're young. So for me, it was about building that kind of space for those younger players that kind of want to have that confidence. And now it's been amazing to see so many young girls get into football. And yeah, it's a massive area for it. Like I remember doing a training session, and there was a bunch of girls up there, and literally just out of meeting those people at the venue that I was at, they now train with me every week. So yeah, it's just amazing, and they love it. They're now coming to all the Bristol Rovers games, and they bought my shirt. So Yeah, so they really do love it, and for me, it's about providing that happy and safe space for them to develop in, and yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and just obviously just finally on women's football and on a wider scale. Obviously, a big moment, obviously for the women's game and football in general was, of course, those back-to-back Euros wins for England. And I suppose for you as a player, and obviously now seeing this, the younger generation coming through now, there must just be so much pride really in playing women's football. Of course, you were rising through the ranks, and now coaching young players as well, having seen how much it's boomed over the last few years thanks to the Lionesses.
Yeah, it was huge. I remember on one of the Euros going to watch the opening day at Old Trafford. That was with Rovers. That was huge, and the experience that I had was honestly it was spectacular. Like I never experienced anything like it. It was great. But it's just had a massive influence on women's football and really just highlighting the growth and the direction that women's football is going into and why people should be investing in us if they haven't already, and why we need that platform to kind of develop and be on that main stage. And yeah, it's just been huge. And like every single one of those players and the staff and everyone behind the scenes, like involved in those two Euro wins, yeah, we owe nothing to them. They've done everything for women's football so far, and really everyone else now kind of hopefully building all those players up is yeah, it's been massive, and yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. It's definitely caused a highlight on women's football, which has been a good thing because we wouldn't be growing in the same rate or direction, I don't think, without that in the UK. So yeah, it's been massive.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm going to take you back, not to the season just gone, but the season
Hmm.
before, where you played Aston Villa, a club incredibly close to my heart, in the FA Cup. Obviously, it was a big defeat on the day, but playing at the Poundland Bescot, as it was at the time, how was that whole experience for you?
Yeah, that experience was crazy. I remember just being at some community work with Nathan. It was for college students discussing their next steps of where they wanted to go. And it was kind of talking about the Rovers College with them. And as we were there, we had the I think it was on I can't remember which website it was on, but we had it up on our on our phones underneath where we could see who we were getting in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Bearing in mind at this point, we knew that we would have to beat Oxford to
Oh
get
yeah.
there. So we found out that we were playing Aston Villa before we beat Oxford. So when we saw it, we were like, "Oh my god, we have to get there! We have to get there! We've got to find a way! Got to find a way!" So yeah, the build up to it was crazy. I remember all like the news reporters coming up to our training sessions on the week of the game and interviewing all of us, and we were just like trying to prepare. We were trying to find ways. Oh, is there a way that we can beat Aston Villa? Like, we remember watching their footage and being like, right, they've got commentators. Like, this is a bit different to what we would normally do. But yeah, and then on the day we kind of made a day of it, to be fair. Like we had more of an evening kickoff, but I would say we went up from quite early and spent most of the day together. And we didn't realize and weren't aware that it was going on TV until like the day before or 2 days before. So we didn't know that was happening either. So yeah, it was mental. It was absolutely mental, but it was the best experience. And if we can hopefully get in that position again, then we'd be absolutely buzzing. Like, and the Villa girls were lovely as well. Like after the game and stuff, they made time for us and time for our fans, which was really important as well. Because for them, it was a big thing. We had so many people travel down that we weren't expecting it, and they were so loud. We were like, "This is great. We're being beat 6-0, but our fans are still going." But yeah, no, it was amazing, and if I could do that experience again, I would.
Yeah, it was obviously a great day out then, and obviously rubbing shoulders with some of the finest footballers as well, including like Rachel Daly was in that team. How
Yeah,
just surreal was that?
it was crazy. I remember a corner going in, and one of our teammates was like, "Oh, don't worry, I've got Rachel." And we just see her jump, and she like leaps over all of us, and we're like, "Yeah, we're never getting to that." Yeah, it was like the football that they were playing in front of us was unbelievable. I felt like at times as a squad we were probably watching them play rather than playing the actual game, just in like awe of what was going on. But no, it was fantastic. Like all of their players had so much quality. I think there was 9 or 10 internationals on the pitch. So
Oh,
we were just, yeah, they played their full strength squad. So which we weren't expecting either until we got into the change rooms and saw the lineup. We were like, great. Nah, it was amazing, and like every single one of those players had so much quality, and yeah, we were in all of them when on the pitch. Obviously, we were trying to battle to get the best that we could, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Brilliant. And just finally, Leia, actually, before I get into my final points, on a bit of a loose England note, with the World Cup happening at the moment, obviously, fantastic win against Croatia, terrible 0-0 draw against Ghana. What do you think of England's chances at the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I was really buzzing before I watched the Ghana game because I thought maybe it is coming home this year, but yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling at the moment just because I've watched France performances
Yeah.
and I don't know if we're matching that right now after watching the Ghana performance. So I think that's where my head's at with it. I mean, I'd love for it to come home and I'll support England all the way. But there are some strong sides in there. France have done really well. Argentina are doing great as well. So yeah, it would be interesting to see who we get in those knockout stages. And I think then I could probably comment on whether it's coming home or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. If ever we play Argentina, who we haven't actually played for 20 years, which is unbelievable. Yeah, that'll be a scary, scary game to watch.
Yeah.
Especially with Messi, he's getting older, but he's getting better. How on earth that even works?
Yeah, hat trick in the first game or something like
Unbelievable.
that, wasn't it?
It's
Crazy.
mad. He's just incredible. Well, Ronaldo's piping up again now, though, but he's even 2 years older and he's still putting
Yeah.
goals in. Unbelievable.
He's just had a new pair of boots come out as well, all gold ones.
Really?
I don't know if you've seen them. Yeah,
wow.
CR7 boots. When I was younger, I probably would have bought them. I don't think I can get away with them anymore. But definitely when I was in the academy and I was 10 years old, I would have bought those. Those would have been my boots.
You know, in my short-lived football career, obviously I never actually got to play any football. I was a very good goalkeeper when I was 6. I used to have a West Bromwich Albion kit. That was my dad's side of the family, and I used to be invincible. I used to be absolutely invincible in that kit. And I almost got a trial for my local town, but that never came to pass. I could have been on that pitch for God's sake. Anyway, that's my
Do you
dream.
support West Brom?
I don't anymore. No, I actually
No.
well, I am funny story. Obviously, my dad's side was West Brom. I was West Brom for a few years, and then Liverpool beat West Brom quite heavily when they got up to the Premier League. I was like, yeah, brilliant, Liverpool. And now I'm a very lapsed Liverpool fan now, if I'm totally honest. Probably ever since Klopp left, actually. But yeah, anyway. But my local club, big shout out to another side who's doing well in Tier 4, actually, for the women's game. Kidderminster Harriers, that's my local side.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
We've just got up to the National League again, so hopefully we stay up, for God's sake. Let's just hope we stay up.
Fingers crossed.
We got promoted a few years ago and then came straight back down, so we just need to stay up. So who do you support? I know you're on a massive tangent now, but now I'm quite interested. Who do you support?
Can you guess? I'm going to let you try and guess who I support. Okay.
Ben, you can get a guess as well. Let's have a think. Ben, you go first, actually. I'm a bit of thinking time.
Bristol born and bred.
Yeah, that's a point, actually.
Which way do you go? I'm going to say Bristol City.
If I can give you a clue, it's neither of those teams.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Bit road, isn't it? What's going on here? For a Bristolian, but born and bred, what's going on? Okay. I'm going to just throw my hat in the ring. Liverpool. No. Go on, Ben. Go for it. You're going to do it.
I'm going to guess Arsenal.
No. Both rivals. I'm a Man United supporter.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, doing a bit better under Carrot now, I tell you. You might have a good season.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully, this new season has something to bring. All over my TikTok, it says United's going to win the league. So we'll see if that comes true this year.
Fantastic. Cool. So she did mention Old Trafford, Ben. There you go. She went to Old Trafford.
And I mentioned Ronaldo. That was the big clue. I would have bought his boots when I was younger.
Cool.
I'll tell you, we're terrible hosts, Ben. We don't listen. What's going on here? Oh, Christ. Brilliant. And then Ben's a Villa fan. He's finally loving trophies. I tell you, he's fantastic.
Yeah, they're doing unreal at the moment.
It's so nice. No, we're winning the league this year. Get the right players in. We'll win the league under Unai.
What a guy.
Do you guys think you'll keep Morgan Rogers, though? There's quite a few clubs eyeing him up at the moment.
I would love to. Our owners have put a big price, are refusing to put a price tag on him. So we have every right to keep him. We're a big side again now, so we shouldn't just bend over to the other clubs that are wanting him. So fingers crossed we can, because it's such an important part of that team.
Fair enough.
What happens if United snap him up?
I mean, I'd buzz in, but
Brilliant. Who do you want to get signing wise? Actually, that's a very good point for United. That'd be interesting to see who they get.
yeah, it will be interesting. I think Edison already was a decent signing.
Yes.
To be fair, I think it was Atlanta. Was it when he was playing?
Well,
Someone else.
that's not the goalkeeper, is it? That's
No, he's a centre
yeah.
midfielder.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's a centre midfielder. He's Brazilian, but for some reason he was playing fullback in the World Cup. But he is a centre midfielder, which I think is a good signing. But I don't think he's the replacement for Casemiro. I think we had our eyes on Elliot Anderson as well, but I think Man City might be trying to pinch him. So
yeah, they bidded like over 100 million for him. He's an incredible player, but God,
yeah,
the money in football now is just
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's insane. Like it's what was it last season where still support Liverpool here and there, but like when it was Isak being signed last year, and they were bidding, I think they had about a few bids declined for him, and then they ended up bidding over like 100 million for him, and it's like
yeah,
and I was like, goodness, man, and then he only scored a few. I know he had a terrible injury, but yeah, they'd already spent 100 on like Vert. It's just me ranting about football, but they still need to spend some money. I tell you, Liverpool need to spend money again and a new manager. Unbelievable. But if I had to, before we finally get back onto what we were talking about, I will just say Liverpool to win the league. No, I don't think they will. I think it will probably be. It's a very good question actually. Hey, United, it's something up. The way they're going under Carrick, and especially if you recruit well now, because that end of the season was unbelievable. From where you were under Amorim, which feels like an age ago now, it feels like years ago, which is unbelievable. But yeah, it would. Well, I say that it wouldn't be great. One of my mates from Cheltenham, who is a Liverpool fan, Matt Evans, he would not like me saying that because he's a massive Liverpool fan. He's been a Liverpool fan for years, so don't listen to that, Matt. I didn't say it, but no, I do think on my professional standpoint, United to possibly do maybe City or Arsenal. It's going to be a bit of a tight one again. Really interesting. I just love to see a big title race. Villa in there as well. Get the whole lot in there and just have a massive title race, so tight right till the end. Brilliant. Anyway, after all that incredible chat about just football in general, we can finally get on to what we were talking about. Ben, where the hell were we? Oh yes, for the final question, we were going to ask about the upcoming season, which of course is coming very, very shortly. I say shortly, but yeah, we will soon come with all these pre-season games. For yourself and for the club, Layah, of course, now obviously having the most appearances in Bristol Rovers history, not many more records to break on that front, but in terms of for the season upcoming, there's always that fight and always that hunger to go for more. What are your hopes for the club and for yourself for this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've always been a very ambitious player and I've always wanted a club that kind of aligns with my values. I know at Bristol Rovers we'll always strive to be the best. The last 2 seasons, obviously both top 4 finishes, but we were both 4th. I'd imagine for us, we want to build on that and edge towards that top 2, top 3 spot realistically. We know that we have some tough teams in there, but I think we always rise to a challenge. And if we recruit well and keep hold of the players that, guide us that way, then there's no reason why we can't be pushing for that top 2 spot. I think it's our time to really push on now. 3rd season in the National League, I want silverware. I'm sure the club wants silverware as well. So me being ambitious, I always want to go for winning the league. Whether that's realistic or not, we'll have to see once we get into the season. But certainly from the start-off standpoint, I think we should always be aiming to go for the win.
I'll tell you what will be a very interesting clash next season in your league will be Gwalior United, fairly local. And in terms of when me and Ben have been at Cheltenham, I think I've only seen Cheltenham beat Gwalior once because they are such a hard team to play against. It always seems like the grittiest game of football you've ever seen. It's always like a proper derby. And Bristol and obviously Cardiff aren't too far out in terms of location as well. So that'll be an interesting game. But of course, there's players there. Of course, Daisy Ackerman, of course, a former Bristol Rovers player. So it's interesting. Yeah. There's that. In terms of a local derby, that's probably one of the more localist. That's not even a word. The most local derby you'll get, but that'd be a good clash next year.
Yeah, no, definitely will. It'll be interesting to play them. I don't know too much about their squad or the way they play. I know obviously Daisy's there, but in terms of the rest of the players and how they kind of set up, I don't know too much. But yeah, it'd definitely be an interesting game. I mean, here at Bristol Rovers, we'll always back ourselves, but yeah, it would be interesting to see how we get on. We did play them, not last season, the season before. I think it was in the WNL Cup. It was right at the beginning of the season. It was like a midweek fixture. And we lost that game. I can't remember, but it was quite tight and it wasn't by very much. And we hadn't really had an established squad by that point. We had quite a few players sign on a bit later on. So yeah, it'd definitely be interesting to see how both sides kind of set up and if we can get a result and hopefully come out with a win against them.
Fantastic. Any more questions on your end, Ben?
I don't think so. I think that was everything. It was fantastic to listen to your fantastic career and all the fantastic community work that you do as well. So thank you very much for coming on, Layah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me as well. You guys have been great hosts. It's been great to speak to you both.
Yeah, thank you very much, Layah. No, it's brilliant. Brilliant to have you on. And what a brilliant just chat about football. And we covered everything. It's great. But brilliant. Best of luck for the new season.
Yeah, thank you so much. Take care.
That was Layah Douglas there on the Women's Football Debrief. Brilliant to have her on. And Ben, and great to have another guest on the podcast. But for now, that's goodbye. I think we're going to try and cool down. I think, where's the ice pack? I need to try and cool down, Ben. Christ.
Yeah, I got some ice creams in the freezer that we brought earlier, so I'll go and have one of them. But I think before and after dinner.
Brilliant. But yeah, fantastic. I've just had too much ice cream at work today. It's been terrible. Just trying to cool down. It's just impossible. Anyway, we can ramble on all day. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Ben. It's been brilliant as always. And for now, from me, it's goodbye.
And goodbye.